Hey everyone, this is Jimmy from Montasy. We're at another episode of Montasy Presents Frequently Asked. And as you can see here...
I'm not Adam.
Exactly.
Hi, I'm Jake. I worked at Montasy here for close to 3 years. Was running events and doing a lot of stuff for Jimmy, and still to this day doing a bunch of stuff for Jimmy.
I know, right? He tries to go as far away as possible, but we just somehow pull him right back in, doing different things, right?
Yeah.
And today, one of the things that we're going to talk about, I mean, as Jake said, he's been here for, he worked here for about, 2+ years, almost 3. Was away for a while. Always comes back to help out with various things. Great guy. But that's what I'm saying right now, right? And then the reason why we're saying this now is because we are looking at it to answer another question, which is what is it like to work at a comic, collectible, and card shop, right? Meaning, what do a lot of people think it looks like when you're a customer, when you're just a friend of a staff or a friend of me and all that and so forth, or versus, when you're actually here having lots of fun, working away, as you can see. So why don't let's just take a little step back, right? So Jake, how did you become aware of Montasy?
Well, I knew about you guys when you were Hurricane,
Mm-hmm.
and when I was little. But then when the Forest Hill shop was open, I would frequently go there for Magic pre-releases and just picking up stuff in general. Huge nerd, so playing Magic, doing comics, D&D, and the like. So I started around, I don't know, like when did Zendikar come out? Like 2000.
Zendikar meaning we use
Magic
the timeline of Magic releases to determine the year.
I think it was like 2008, 2009. I really started playing Magic the Gathering again, and I would frequent Montasy. And then just from frequently going, met Jimmy. One of my good friends, Adam, also started working there and just would frequently go because he would let me know about stuff. And eventually I decided to apply and then was here.
And in general, one of the things that a lot of times that we always look at is, okay, is would the person be distracted and because how someone may like a particular product, right? Oh, you like Magic. Oh, I'm sorting through cards. Oh, this is a cool card. Or you're looking at a comic book. So, I love the pictures and everything's really cool. But there was that concern. But at the same time, we thought, hey, somebody who's very knowledgeable, somebody who's always willing to help. And,
also very loud, works out very nicely.
Very loud, because, scare people when they're shouting out time. And that's, that's why we have Jake come aboard. Now, just a quick couple of questions in general, like what was it like in terms of when you were just coming in for events, just checking things out and all that and so forth, versus then when when your first day or second day when you actually started working here? What would you say is some of the differences or that you were surprised by or not surprised by?
I mean, like being a person, just a shoppy, whatever you want to call it. The biggest difference was not knowing what was available, not knowing when things were coming out and stuff. And then when you start working, not only do you have a good knowledge of how, the inner workings of just shipping and also receiving intake of collectibles and cards and the like, but then also figuring out what is really marketable and what works for people. Because for a long time you had me doing pull lists and stuff.
Pull lists, just for those of you, it's pretty much people order comics, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Every week there'd be a list of comic books that we will put aside for members, customers who want their books help.
Yeah, and just kind of learning the intricacies of, obviously third-party companies, despite me knowing them, I don't know, a lot of people read them. So it had learning about all that stuff, and then on top of that, in terms of card games and stuff, really learning the intricacies of how games work. I didn't know nothing about Pokemon for the longest time, the card game. And then all of a sudden I had to judge a bunch. And it was definitely a awakening of, it's just Magic, but slightly different, which is kind of my interpretation of most card games at this point. It's just, it's just Magic, but different.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, and one of the things that we always look at is, it's like a lot of people may feel intimidated, let's say if they know the subject, right? It's like, I don't know Pokemon. I don't know first appearance of Venom. By the way, Amazing Spider-Man 2993. No, but, or even sports, many things that we carry.
I knew nothing about sports.
He definitely didn't know any, I mean, he knows.
I know more.
He knows
more than I did.
Teams. But I think what happens is we always look at it from a standpoint of when you're here and when you're working, right? And you're going to be exposed to different things. And it's oftentimes also a lot of customers that's coming in, that's really teaching us, how things are done. What is the latest, greatest, and what are the things that we need to look at?
It was definitely more of a learning, because this was really my first big retail job.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I'm already pretty good at talking with people and doing one-on-one time, but then learning how to fulfilling someone's needs as terms of, what's the newest thing, knowing what's all the new product, and be like, all right, you got this, and this. Give what input you can, and then make sure you're there for the next customer, or make sure you don't lax on your other duties.
Well, what would you say then from that then is the toughest thing? What did you have to make any adjustments from, let's say, just coming in, playing in any events versus, actually running events or versus actually taking care of customers? I mean, what would you say are some of the things that you could?
I mean, definitely being more aware of time constraints. Whenever we would do pre-releases for card games, the biggest thing would be that we would probably run at least 2 to sometimes even 3 in a day, and like really getting people down to making sure they maintain the times. We get through it all and make sure we have like everything put aside for your prize payout, and then know it by heart, so you don't have to constantly go, how much do we give them for 2 and 1?
And we still do it wrong.
We still do it wrong sometimes. It happens.
Or at least grab the wrong prize, but it's all good.
But then, like as a player, I would just be entirely lax and be like, it's fine, I got time. And then when I would be a player, but then also be a worker, I'd be like, guys, we gotta actually hurry up. I don't want everyone to be stuck here till 11 o'clock at night, because we're just going, I don't know, I could play this, or maybe I could play that. And you're just like,
yeah, I guess that's a very good point. I guess what you're saying also is when you're a player, you're sitting there and chilling, talking with your opponents about any cards or making some decisions. You're like, I got plenty of time. I can just go through it.
Yeah.
But then now when you're on the flip side, you're like, oh wait, there is a clock. I have to manage this clock.
Yeah.
And therefore, oh wait, if I don't do these things, then it may take a lot longer.
Yeah. And it's, then it becomes an inconvenience to not only the staff, but also other players, because it really does depend on the situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, you were talking about sports earlier, right? Now, in what ways did you feel like you began to learn more about what's going on in sports?
I definitely learned a lot about the rarity and like the scarcity of certain packs and stuff, and boxes, and even what's the name of the ones that would always come out that was like literally in a suitcase.
For those of you who are not familiar, the literally in a suitcase means flawless. It's Panini flawless.
Sorry, it's been a while.
Completely understandable. I'm sure.
I don't collect. Yeah, I understand it a little.
Completely understandable. I'm sure a lot of people who go suitcase, no, that's flawless. That's a high value collectible.
But like seeing how much those products are, and the return on a lot of those products can, in theory, be, was just like very interesting. And on top of that, really learning, like going on different sites and stuff, and kind of getting a gauge of what not everyone got rid of MSRP, but certain companies did. Like, but it's whatever you want. But there's still market, market standard rate or MSRP? What is it?
Yeah, it's manufacturer suggested retail.
Yeah.
I only know that because I see that all the time.
Yeah, I don't see MSRP as much anymore, but it's definitely understanding like the highs and lows, and literally the rapid increase and decrease of certain product, and having to adjust accordingly. Like learning that part, as well as being able to like at least know what's in a set and be aware of it. Like sometimes when I was on the train ride home, I would just start looking up what's in a set and be like, okay, so these cards are like kind of what people are looking for. I should, if someone opens it, I go, oh, awesome, that's really cool, that's worthwhile, and kind of like apply that to what I would do for a lot of the Magic and Pokemon stuff, because I had more of an understanding of it, so I could be ready for it. But and then it eventually just kind of evolves.
And that's what you would say is the similarities right across the board, right? Whether it's Magic, whether it's Pokemon, whether in sports, all that and so forth, is that there are all those what's called the ones that you want to get.
Rare, special edition stuff, whatever you want to call it.
Exactly. So we just did we're doing a pretty short edition. Are there anything that you would suggest, or that for somebody that, say, if they ever want to work at a collectible shop, or even our shop more specifically, right? Because not all shops are the same.
Yeah, not all shops are different. I've been to a lot.
What would you recommend to them? And also, what would you say are the differences that you've seen across different shops?
I think definitely, if you want a good shop to be like very accepting of all different card games and stuff, and making sure that you have like the availability and like, hey, I know about this, and this, having a good understanding of your product is definitely the way to go. Because if you just get something and go, I don't really know anything about Flesh and Blood, but like then you take the time like, oh, I played a game, I at least understand it, or recently I started playing the Digimon game, and I now have an understanding of that, and like I'm like, oh, hey, that's pretty interesting. Oh, you have this, and this, and then really the end result is just because depending on the store, you're either going to get a lot of people who know a lot about one thing, and if you try to ask them about another thing, they will shut down on you, because they're just like, I don't really know about anything about that. You just get what you want. But what Jimmy taught us pretty hard every time, especially he would sit me down and just discuss. Hey,
no, I don't beat it out of him.
You don't beat it out. You'd sit me down and you go, hey, you got to worry about this, and this. You're doing well on like. It's not so much compartmentalizing. It's like knowing it's literally knowing your product so that you can be as effective as possible, even when, say, the higher ups are not there to help you out. You have the good knowledge to be like, okay, I know that you might want this, or having an understanding of. I still do this every week, even though I don't pick up as much comics. I still always look, all right, what's the new releases this week? Okay, is that worthwhile? Are people going to ask about this? Let me check the synopsis. Probably. Yeah,
I mean, and that makes sense, right? But it's also a function of, like we said earlier, you don't necessarily need to be knowledgeable, but it's really
being more of a jack of all trades, having the base knowledge, and then applying it accordingly.
Yep, and it's really what I would gather is the willingness to try to continue to move forward, to research, and it's really not a lot of research. I think
spent it
for a lot of things. A lot of things is just with today's and age is very easily accessible.
Yes, definitely.
So it's a matter of just going in and finding out, right? Are there any things that you would think that you would like to add?
I mean, like working retail at a card shop was genuinely just. It was a good experience because not only
it's not fun. You heard that.
It can be fun.
No. You heard that. He's not saying it's fun.
I chose my words.
No, whenever somebody goes, it's a good experience.
It is.
It's almost like saying.
Listen, it was fun and a good experience. You're happy?
No. But it's okay. We don't want to say that.
It was a very good experience because not only to Jimmy's horn, he is a good boss. He taught me a lot. Also gave me a lot of donuts.
Yeah, he's gonna get more donuts later for this comment. Yes.
Oh, I'm getting paid donuts.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, now I lost my train of thought. Now I'm thinking of donuts. It's more working with Jimmy was a very good experience, and learning about how to essentially have, to put it in layman's terms, multiple products to have a keen understanding of, not expertise, but an understanding of, so that way for any future stuff. Because I've done other retail work now, and now I can apply it really well to be like, all right, I know about this, and this, and just taking the little extra time to know your product and know then how you can benefit other people and also assist other people while you're working. I mean, if you're a good wheelhouse, you can then give someone a little support and be like, hey, you can just do this, this, and this, and it makes life 10 times easier.
Oh, thank you. I mean, thank you, Jake, for the kind words. I remember that. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it is also how you approach it, right? When you're a fan, you're like, this is great, but there's always a lot of information. You could always learn a lot more. I'm constantly learning, and I'm constantly learning from everybody, and I'm also learning from Jake. We're talking about a bunch of stuff that I didn't have a clue about earlier, but I certainly learned a lot. And when we're talking about not a clue, we're not talking about comics or cards. I have one clue about those, but other things. And it's always good to be willing to learn, even in any environment. At least that's for me.
Yeah, pretty much anyone.
And that's it for today's episode.